What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shirtless Mike, and once again, it's too damn cold for me to be shirtless. It's like 40 something degrees out here in the Herf zone. Uh, yeah, so sorry about that, but hope you guys had a great day today. Uh, Back for episode 2 of the relaunch, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Had a lot of good feedback from the first go around with Valentino Siesto Cigars. And so for tonight's show, I have some very good friends of mine. It's going to be a triple Mike night because we got Mike Palmer and Mike Stepankavich from Powstanie Cigars and a Cigar Hustlers podcast. So without further ado, I'm going to bring them on. I don't know what topic we're going to start out with tonight, but I have a lot of different topics. So we're going to bring them on and get started. Mike 1 and Mike 2, how are y'all?
Hey, here we are. The 3.
So Mike 1, you're at home right now, correct?
I am, yes.
And then Palmer, you look like you're in the studio,
I'm in my office.
in your office.
It used to be a studio, but I have acquired it as an office.
Nice. Well, before we get started, what are you guys smoking? We obviously know it's Powstanie, but I'll start. I'm smoking the Connecticut Toro right here. And as I famously say, I probably text one of you guys like at least once a month. This is the best Connecticut on the market. And ever since it came out, I've been saying that. So, boom.
Go ahead, Michael.
Why? I want to go last. You go.
I am starting with, I can't find the camera, a broadleaf, Powstanie broadleaf. And then, depending on how long the show goes, I've got a BDP up on deck.
All right.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at you.
I know about that.
San Andreas, baby.
Those aren't available to everybody here.
They're not out yet, but they should be out in a few weeks.
Most definitely. Well, let's start with talking about the new San Andreas blend, because, you started off with the Habanos and the broadleafs. So you got the Connecticut's. Now and you've had the special releases, War Bears, SBCs, and everything else.
BDPs.
It's just a whole list. So
Catastrophic failure.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the catastrophic failure as well. But but now you're on the San Andreas. Tell us about why you decided to go with the San Andreas and
Tell us, Michael,
just your goals with it.
Because I don't know this story either.
This will be a great way to download you, Michael. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to this. The San Andreas. So when the broadleaf was created, that was our bolder cigar, right? And over time, acquiring more broadleaf has become harder. Now, you can still get broadleaf. It's just not the same quality. So the Nica Sueño factory stopped carrying it. So we were working on something in order to kind of replace that. The Maestranzas that came out were like the first kind of test blends with the San Andreas Claro. And there was talks of possibly us maybe doing that cigar, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted it. I had zero intel in it. Like it wasn't anything for me. It was solely the creation of Skip. I just felt like
input. You didn't have any input.
Thank you, Michael.
That was the word you were looking for. Just trying to help.
Zero input on it, and so I was, I wanted to come up with my own. So I went down to the factory and I worked on a blend and created something that I thought was fire. So we've already have the product. Normally when we receive products and allocations from Nica Sueño, we receive it all kind of a lump sum, and then we time out its release. So we're working on the release. Probably early February is what we're game planning right now. It just depends upon coordinating with my national sales manager and working on a sales strategy for it. So
nice. That's some exclusive stuff right there. And speaking of national sales manager, so
yes, hello.
So this is the national sales manager for everybody watching. Yes. So Palmer, how are you taking to your new role as national sales manager, brother?
I'm having a great time. It's a lot of fun. People are accepting me out as the face of the company. Things are working out well. I added a bunch of new accounts. It's going well.
Nice. I saw you tease a new account, possibly. Are you making an official announcement via social media, or you want to, are you allowed to? Like, I'm not trying to.
Well, I was just waiting until they received the product. Is why I just teased it today. But Leaf and Bean Island Jim picked us up in St. Augustine today.
All right. And you know what?
Thanks.
I have one of my former customers who comes back and forth, moved to St. Augustine, so I'm gonna tell him he better smoke some pastania, baby,
There you
when he
go.
sees it.
Pop in there and say hello.
Most definitely. So leaf and bean, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
Yeah,
There's a
Palmer's, so our approach here is that Palmer is looking to do two things, right? He's looking to continue the growth with the accounts that we have on a national level, as well as kind of farm locally and continue to generate more sales and more revenue just in the state of Florida. So he kind of has two jobs. I mean, he has like eight jobs, but he has two jobs as far as Koshik is concerned, right? Kind of establishing the Florida market and having that trend kind of build and develop, and then also maintaining the other accounts on a national level. We're hoping at one point to say, okay, your sales are now at X for in the state of Florida. Let's bring somebody in to maintain those and figure out what the next step is for our growth kind of plan, right? He's doing a fantastic job. He's learning. He's learning as he's going, which has its pros and its cons. But the reality is that we fully trust Palmer, so that goes a extremely long way. And he treats our money
Thank you.
like it's his money, right? So it's very easy to put somebody in the job, give somebody a corporate card, and then just not give a shit about any of it, right? So they just spend a bunch of money. They don't really generate sales, and things don't really kind of map out. So our perspectives are kind of aligned with all of that. So
Greg does call me when he sees the card or something he doesn't can't figure out what it is.
oh, me too, all the time. He calls me.
No,
all the
you
time. We
not
have to
you.
give him
You
a
never
check.
ask, but Greg does.
No, Greg
Last
calls
month
me
it
all
was
the time. Is what I'm saying.
Greg. He calls you all the time about yours
Yeah.
too. Oh, I got
What
you. Yeah.
is this
He's
chart?
like, why were you at Target? I go, ink for the printer. Oh, okay, that's acceptable, I guess.
I like when he calls me for a charge that he made. Like
Oh, that's
that was
nice.
yeah, that wasn't
That
me.
was you, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, that was you.
So
I like when he texts me with how to do social media. That's always fun.
Oh, he gives you insight 101.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because I mean he's so much into social media.
Here's what you want to do. You're doing this all
Yeah,
wrong.
here's what you should do. I'm like, well, I did that yesterday, so. Oh, okay, fine, that's fine.
So let's get into. You guys have placed on several lists this year, with with the on Half Wheel, the Consensus, a bunch of other lists that I've kind of lost track of. Like, first of all, congratulations to you guys. As you and Greg, BDP. You
Thank
guys,
you.
everybody involved, all the retail partners, everybody that promotes Pausania as a brand. So, um, how have you been taking this? I know you're very psyched about it, but just give me your thoughts on being included on so many lists as you have over the last few years and ever since Paustani's inception.
Palmer, how do you feel about it as a national sales manager? This is your first go round. Let's start with you.
It does make my life a whole lot easier when if I can walk into a shop and go, they go, oh, this cigar's gonna go. Yeah, well, yes, because it was just voted number 16 on Half Wheel Thing 2 years in a row. Who makes your cigar? Well, that'd be Nick Swinu. Out of 3 of the last 4 years, they've been Company of the Year or Factory of the Year. So it makes my life easier when you guys make a cigar good enough to score high on all these different lists.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well,
It becomes part of the tool. It's one of my tools that I can use.
yeah, it is definitely a tool for your toolbox.
Yes.
It's a lot of hard work. Postania has been around for 10 years at this point. And when I kind of look back, I'm like, damn, 10 years, it's flown by. 15 years in the cigar industry, 10 years wholesale. And you're just like, at first when you didn't get, any nods or any acknowledgments, you're just like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. But as time has kind of developed and relationships have been established and people believing in the brand and continuing to make good, better and better product, great product every year, people are finally taking more notice than they were in prior years. So it's a great feeling. I'm not gonna lie. When someone says, "Hey, you got a banger. You're doing a great job." Barry Stein acknowledged it. I think he was one of the first. How about that cigar? Gave us number 2 on SBC. Obviously, Half Wheel gave us 20 this year for the Powstanie, Connecticut, the Justice. The consensus mean we hit 16 on the consensus, which means that there are media platforms that we haven't even seen yet that have acknowledged us. So um, I actually want to kind of assemble something to put something together and to kind of show all of those guys some little bit of gratitude, like a short or a clip of some sort. But I got to figure out exactly, who and all that registered us or acknowledged us, because I don't want to leave anybody out of it. So, um,
Another
but
job for Palmer.
Yes, I'll have to figure that out.
it's definitely a job for Palmer.
I
Without
like how he has figured out how this all works. It's very nice.
yes, oh yeah, Mike knows. Mike knows.
Yeah.
I know. I've
Right.
seen it in action a few weeks back when I saw the behind the scenes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what's really
Mikey
kind of
goes,
crazy?
I've got a great idea. Where's Palmer?
You know what's really kind of crazy? The part that consumes the majority of my time now is editing.
Yeah,
Is
I
doing
saw
is,
that.
is doing all of this work for all of like the clips and all of this stuff, and uh man, that's hard, dude. And like the further down you get into it, the more times you do it, the more analytical you get of every little thing that's in it. You're like, oh well, I could do a zoom here, I could do like flip something in this, and I could make this better, and you know, um, and then to make it even worse, the shadow banning that happens on some of these things are crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
if we mention Trump, and it's not pro Trump, it's not anti Trump, it's just a news thing that hit,
Hmm.
it'll get shadow banned on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
crazy. If you're smoking a cigar, it'll get shadow banned. So
Yeah.
you do what you can to try and navigate through those things, but sometimes the clip is good, and I'm like, I want to put it up anyways, and I devoted the last 2 hours of my time putting this one together. So 2 or 3 hours worth of work for a 55-second clip is crazy, but it's what it takes.
Yep. And I tell you what, like, when I decided to pre-record my shows and everything, I still keep the format of pretending like it's live. Like right now, like, I just pretend like all this what we're doing right now is live. And then I still got to figure out like the clips and all that type of stuff. And I know, you told me the program that you use, but then that also has like a relation to TikTok or whatever. To my knowledge, it's CapCut or something like that.
Yep.
Has
Yeah,
that
that's what it is.
has that affected you guys with this whole? I know you guys discussed it on the show, but has the CapCut thing, or you guys not affected?
It went down like TikTok did. Got the same message popped up on the screen that we're no longer allowed, blah blah blah. Luckily, it's back up now. At the time, Mikey needed it to do the clips for this week. But yeah, I mean, on Monday we recorded the show. It was still down. We were concerned.
Yeah, and I know that I've seen a bunch of clips going up, especially the one of the latest ones when Boofy wanted to bang your head into a
Yeah, so
1984
apparently he was
bottle.
very angry that day. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Here's what I can tell you about my experiences when it comes to any of this: social media platforms, software programs, any of all of it. Just to kind of briefly surmise, when everybody's running in the other direction and they're nervous and scared, you need to be running towards whatever that problem is. And when you run towards those things and you solve the problem and you figure it out, you're now three more steps in front of everybody else that went the other way. So when I see panic, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Let's go. Let's keep pressing forward here and figuring it out. The timing worked out well as far as CapCut going down, the way that it came down, the way that we came back up. So we were really unaffected. But if we had been affected when it came time to do those posts, we just would have figured out another way to put them up. So
Most definitely. I definitely agree with that. And I was kind of late to the game with doing shorts. And I think within StreamYard, I can make like short videos. I got to do that. But it's definitely something that, you're definitely ahead of the curve, when you're doing that. So,
I feel like we're a little behind.
yeah,
Um,
at least I'm not the only one.
as far as the general consensus, as far as the world is concerned, I mean, like, if I was 11 years old, like Mr. Beast, and I started playing on YouTube 13 years ago, we would be eons in front of everybody else, but we're not. I was looking at a YouTube clip, video of a cigar group, and it was, three guys. They got decent equipment, and they got way more subscribers than us, more views. And I'm like, well, maybe it's bots, maybe whatever, or maybe they're just doing something right that we're not doing. So, you always kind of look at what other people are doing, what other individuals are doing, and see how you can work on perfecting your craft. So, I say all that to simply state that, dude, dip your toe in the water, buddy. Start making mistakes, and you'll get better if you want it. You just realize that it's a lot of work. It's a lot. All
Oh,
of it's a lot,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely.
Like
That's-
Palmer's shorts are terrible. I don't know if you've seen them.
They didn't used to be.
They were for a while there. They were awesome.
Right.
Just as I've gotten better at it, and like in all reality, I have the ability to kind of spend that time on perfecting it because I see its tremendous value for the organization. Where you have all these other responsibilities as far as selling product and engaging with our retailers and our partners and stuff. And I know how much time it takes. There's no way that I can look at you and say, "Hey,
Right.
you're not doing this right. You need to fix this, and I need you to work harder on it." It's just not. It's just not conducive to the business. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
You
And
know.
as you've gotten better, it's made my life easier because now I don't have
Right.
to do it. So,
It's
That's
all about synergy.
that's true. I mean, speaking of synergy and improvement and everything, you guys have done some amazing interviews like this past year. Not only you guys were sponsors for a couple years of this show when it was still Herf Zone Live, and of course I'm a fan and I listen to mostly every show every single week and from the Reinhard and I can't pronounce this guy's last name. But that interview was really good, and it was a different type of interview for you guys too. Like, you got your Eric Espinosas, you got your Steve Sakas, you got your Matt Booth, and those are interviews that you used to. But this is somebody, not a lot of people in the industry, interview. What was it like interviewing somebody of his caliber and just getting to know him a little bit better, um, and all that good jazz?
Well, the uniqueness of this industry is that there are a lot of fantastic people. There's a lot of asses too. There's a lot of assholes, but there are a lot of really good people with different walks of life and things that are really kind of fascinating about them. And when you talk with some of these guys and you see how genuine they are, you want to introduce them to the world, right? So you have this guy that's got a great life story. um, he's had his hardships. He's learned. He's hustled. He's worked the entire time, and he's in this great position with Mirtfell. And when I met him at the show last year, I was like, man, this guy is awesome. So if an opportunity comes up to do an interview with someone like that, of course I want to capitalize on it. Now, what's important is that your interviews can't be like everybody else's interview.
Yeah.
So it can't be, there was a time when we started doing our podcast and no one else was really doing it, right? Like we've been in this game now for over 5 years, which is crazy to me. And our interviews were, hey, so how'd you get in the cigar industry? How'd you do this? Oh, that's right. Like,
Yep.
and that was it. And like now, I take way more research into our interviews. So I'll go back and I'll listen to like the 3 latest podcasts that the person was on. And if there's things that weren't covered, what's really kind of remarkable is when you really start paying attention to podcasts and the details of things that people are saying, a lot of things will get mulled over. I may make a statement here and you may not pick up on it and you may just move on to the next topic when there was something deep there, you
Yeah.
know? So I would look for those things and I would say, hey, I want to, on this, you said XYZ, and, I want to really kind of dive a little deeper in that and get your question, get some more info about that. why did you think that way? And, how did you come to that conclusion, or whatever the case may be? And, like Saka, you could put a mic in front of Saka, and Saka will talk for 45 minutes,
Yep,
and you won't be able to get a word in. And you know
absolutely.
what?
He's been a guest on this show, so I know.
Yeah, and he might not even answer the question that you ask. So, like, even if you go back into our last podcast, I brought it back. I'm like, okay, so I thank you for all that, but let me bring you back to the question. Here was the question. This is what I wanted to know, and because, like, some of those questions, uh, they're harder to answer. They're not. People aren't comfortable sometimes saying they don't want to. They think maybe they might offend, or you know. Maybe it's too opinionated, and where I disagree. I think that it's okay to be opinionated, it's okay to be different, and Mike is definitely opinionated, um, and he's definitely different, and it's amazing that he's letting me talk as much as I am right now,
Try not to interrupt.
without interrupting. It's insane. So between our dialogue all the time on the podcast, as well as doing those specific interviews, you really get to kind of know people on a different level. And that's what the interviews are more about for me. And just learning that craft, learning the interview craft on a podcast, has been a lot of fun. It has really been a lot of fun.
I think a lot of the regular shows are afraid to ask questions that aren't cigar related.
Yeah,
They think people don't want to know and stuff. And that's where you get the good information. I mean, we had Reinhardt. Was it Reinhardt that was talking about his mother and his grandmother and stuff? That's something somebody else would have just passed over.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, the background of that guy. I mean, he lives in the same house across.
That he grew up in.
Yeah, his
He used
family
to make
is
bread
so-
with his grandmother or something every Sunday, and I mean that kind of stuff's amazing.
and then she passed. And like that had a big impact on that guy. So like, how do you not acknowledge that? How do you not, like, family is super important? How do you not, like, that's the foundation of an individual, right? Like, why they are the way they are, why they do the things that they do. So you know tapping into that, and getting someone to show you how they feel is the best.
Yep. I know I've had some good moments, just as far as like growing in like interviews. And I try, I'm like you guys. I try not to the rapper binder filler, type. I try not to ask the same questions, but I've gotten some people to open up a little bit more, and they were just like, wow, like I didn't even intend on getting this personal, and then it's just like,
Right.
I can't even explain how I actually made it happen, but it was just you just make them feel comfortable enough, and then people just open up.
They end up feeling closer to you when the interview's over, and then you've made a really good friend. I mean,
Absolutely.
they've shared something with you for that hour you talked to them.
Oh, absolutely.
I
And that's
think
what I
more,
try to do here. I want people to just be able to talk your shit, have fun, you know, and provide those type of experiences.
I think that a great interviewer enjoys listening to a person. And if you have that ability and you genuinely care about people, you're going to do well. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely. So BDP, when we're gonna get you doing some more solo interviews, sir?
Mikey handles our interviews. I had that brief stint where I had the Palmer Show +1, and I tried to do interviews like Mikey does, but he's just better at it. That's the good thing about it. We know our individual strengths and weaknesses. If there's something I'm better at, he'll let me do it, or something he's better at, he does it. That's just the way we work.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I'll sit over there and push the buttons, ask one or two questions, but I mean, he's just turned loose, and get him to cry, Mikey. Ask him where they lost their puppy.
I mean, if you want somebody to cry, just get Carlito on, and he'll just start crying. But you have to get him there first.
I mean, the best aspect for us is that there's no ego, right? The ego's checked at the door. We all have our roles, and it's a constantly changing thing, but as we kind of progress, we know, like, look, I got this. This is what I do well. And yeah, does it add to my workload? Sure. But it makes more sense for me to do it than it makes for you to do it. We were just talking today about critiquing one other thing, and we're trying to solve the problem as to how we're going to do it. What's the best approach? And as I'm driving in the car, I feel like I found the resolve. So I called Mike. I'm like, hey, what if instead of we going this way and doing da da da, why don't we just take this and I'll do this and you show me the one thing that you did differently and I'll handle that moving forward. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. You know,
I'm all about less work. Anything else he would like to do?
it's not so much that it is less work, Mike. It's more about just efficient work.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
a better way to word it. Yeah, better efficient.
we try,
More efficient.
synergy is not 1+1=2. It's 1+1=infinite, right? So you figure out the components of the team that you have, and you play to everybody's strengths and you propel forward. Now, when you find that an individual is lagging and not part of the team or is more self-centered, you cut them loose. You give zero hesitation. That's something that I've learned over the course of 15 years. Like, you can do more damage hanging on to an individual just to keep that spot filled than by letting them go and just dealing with the problem. That's way more powerful. Hey, you know what, man? Sorry, you're not working. It's not working out for us. You're not a good fit. Things aren't going the way they are. We're just going to move on without you. We appreciate everything you've done. No hard feelings. Bye.
Most definitely.
You got to feel that way too. I mean, just like, okay, so you work with a retailer who I think is a really cool guy, right? And he has his own visions and he has his own plan for retirement and all these other things. And he's done a lot of things for you in terms of kind of turning you loose and trusting you to do specific things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if he wasn't intelligent enough to see the value in you, right? He would have made your framework smaller. He would say, this is what you got to do, check in, check out, boom, you're done, whatever, But he does lean into some of your visions and some of your dreams and your goals because they're aligned with his as far as being successful in the retail aspect of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to some degree?
Yeah.
It seems that you have allowed him certain freedoms that he didn't have before.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
He has the ability now to do other things because you're there.
And vice versa. You have more freedoms in that shop because he's given them to you.
Most definitely.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then hopefully one day that leans towards you and, either A, becoming a partner in that store or making a satellite store or something, so that your dreams and your aspirations can proceed forward, right?
Oh,
hey, there's
absolutely.
value in this. We can invest further. We can figure things out.
Oh, yeah.
You're a terrible interviewer, by the way. Oh, yeah.
I'm a terrible interviewer.
Absolutely. No, like me interviewing you, you're like, yep. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, he's a
No,
terrible
I'm just-
interview.
I'm-
He's a terrible interview, not an interviewer.
Yeah. Yes. The person that
Right.
interviews it. Yep.
Right.
Oh, I'm. So you're saying I'm a terrible interviewer or interview?
Interview.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a good interview. I'm just trying to listen to what you got to say and let you talk your shit and
The
have fun
one word
with it.
answers just drive us crazy because there's
Yep.
nowhere to go from. Yep.
We can get Island Jim on here with you.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, maybe we should get him back on the show again. Like, nah, that was the worst show we ever had. We had him on years ago, and
Is he
Mikey
not a
couldn't
big
be
talker?
there. Well,
No.
he is, but there's a way to do it, and he was my first interview, and Greg was my backup, which is also terrible to be on a podcast because he doesn't talk. So I had Greg and Island Jim. Neither one of them knew how to talk or wanted to talk, so the show lasted 15 minutes.
See, that's always my biggest fear because it's like, I try to have like notes and everything, and then it's like, I was like, I don't want one topic to be exhausted. Like I'm scared that it's like my biggest fear, but I know it never happens, because we just keep it moving. But
I had all sorts of questions for him, but he gave me the yes, yep. So you started in hospitality? Yep.
So here's what I think, Mike. Like, let's say that you're doing an interview and you have like 6 or 7 key points, right? Here's how I would kind of break it down. It's like I'd start with some light softball stuff, talk about whatever the person's sport
Get them
fan.
comfortable, get them loosened up a little bit.
And then I'd start kind of leaning into the hard questions. And then of those 5 or 6, I would have an asterisk around 2 of them that I know I want to cover as far as a topic, right? And as I'm running out of time, I'll make sure that I incorporate those last 2 Or if those two are incorporated, if I run out of time and I don't get to all of them, that's perfectly fine as well. You know?
Oh yeah, I've done that so many times because like I'm over prepared and it's like and then after the end of the interview I was like, oh, I never asked the, but it wasn't like the important stuff. I got to all the important stuff, because that's the key. You want to get to all the important stuff, and then you're just like, oh, I could ask about this, but I just didn't have time. So
Right.
do you pre-prepare questions whenever you're starting to interview people? Like you have like a set list of things, or because I kind of go back and forth. It just depends on who I'm interviewing. I wanted to have at least the topics written down so that I don't get too lost with my neurodivergent brain on this interview. So
Uh, my original attitude was always just kind of wing it, and then I realized that I was really doing myself a disservice, and I'm doing the person that I'm interviewing a disservice. So, what I'll do is I will go back and I'll listen to a bunch of their podcasts. I'll do as much data and research intel as I can in that period of time. If it's a week or so, I'll spend a few hours every day just gathering information and listening to things and trying to incorporate specific things. So that way, I do have a list of questions. Sometimes those questions, if I feel like those questions may be uncomfortable to the individual, I'll even say, "Hey, listen, I got some questions here. I'd like to run some of them by you just to make sure that you're okay with me asking you those questions." Now, if they say, "Hey, no, you don't need to ask," it's fine, just do it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Well,
If
but
they say that.
there more often than not, what'll happen is an individual will say, um, "No, that's fine. Just you can ask me any question you want. I'll just decide to answer it or not." I'm like, "Okay." You know. Now, if there's a hot topic that's going on, like we had one this week, um, and the person asked us not to reveal it, and I ran it at them a couple times. I said, "Okay, but what about and what about?" And they still like, "Hey, just please don't do it." I'm like, "Okay." I'm not gonna release it. I'm not gonna drop that bomb. We do our best to respect the integrity of the individual, and protect them. The story is not as important as the person. You know what I mean?
mhm.
It's one of the reasons we record our show in case something happens that something gets out that either we think will hurt their reputation or they go, "Hey, we've had people call like the day after go, I probably shouldn't have said that." So we go, "Okay, no problem. We'll just cut it out."
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of a good benefit of me now recording my show. Although I've never
Right.
had anything happen because I'm so used to doing it live. I just pretend like this is live, and we haven't said anything that's incriminating or anything.
Yeah,
So
but now you have the ability though, if that was to happen.
yeah,
I mean,
We're
we've had some
professional.
episodes we didn't even air because the whole thing was just bad.
Yeah, Pedro from Drew Estate.
Well, I wasn't going to say his name, but yeah, Pedro
Oh,
from
no,
Drew
well,
Estate.
we've already said it on our podcast.
Oh, that's true.
He came in and he did an event, and we got him at the end of the event, and he was a little tipsy. And he was kind of all over the place, and he said some things, and he's like, "Can I listen to it first?" And so Palmer sent it to him, and he's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I think we shouldn't air this." Is what I think we should. As much as I'd want to air it, I don't think that it's in your best interest that we air it because
We've
it
got
doesn't.
great clips though from it for the soundboard. So
yes. Oh, I've
Yeah.
heard, I've heard the stories. Now, in all fairness, though, like even Pedro being sober, like as he's been on the show, he is kind of all over the place. He asked the first question, and like, I mean, he doesn't have a problem talking. So
Yeah.
no, we
but
had him on before and got his background story. So this was just more,
yeah, this is
off the cuff
bullshitting, and
stuff. But he just went to a place he shouldn't have went. We had a gentleman on years ago. It was a gentleman that frequented the shop all the time. He was an older gentleman, and we got him on tape. Talked to him almost 2 hours. And not that he said bad things, but because of his age, it was just generational stuff that could have been taken bad.
yeah,
So we cut that out. And his wife thanked us actually when she listened to when she heard the interview because she knew how he was.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. You definitely got to protect that, protect yourself, you know, protect the reputation of others as well. Because
Yeah, it's more others. We don't really care what anybody thinks about us on our show.
I mean, you've come to that realization a long time ago. You
Yeah, a
know?
long time ago. Like, you know what? We're gonna do this, and we're just gonna say whatever we want.
I think what's crazier too, though, as these shorts and all these other clips kind of start taking more, getting more attention, you start seeing the negative side of social media, right? The people that quickly judge you from a clip and then assume something, and then they'll say something nasty. And I think that took a little bit of time for me to, like, all right, like whatever, dude. Just go ahead and be angry, um,
Yeah,
so and that's what's great is like, look, as you continue to gain popularity, it just gets worse. So if you can handle that, and then that's where you can grow. you know
yeah, most definitely. I've had people come at me on cigar groups, and I'm like, bro, like this is the internet. And I used to kind of entertain. I don't entertain it anymore, but I've gone back and forth with people, and then I've even gone so far as like, yo, I smoke cigars in real life. Like, catch me at your local shop somewhere, because like,
Right. You're real. This is you. This is what you do. This is how you act.
yeah,
yeah, you're
I'm like, but I coined the phrase "I smoke cigars in real life" because these people they smoke cigars in cigar groups and they want to act all tough in cigar groups. I'm like, bro, like catch me when I'm out of town. Like I've had a situation, this was 5 years ago now, where I came very close to getting canceled, and I know you're probably aware of the situation, but it's old. But there was somebody I posted where I was, and then he said somebody's told this person I had a conversation with, who was connected to this situation, said that 7 people texted him telling him where I was or whatever. So like, and then we had a conversation. It was cool. Like somebody who didn't involved with kind of a group involved with the whole situation, but it's all good though. So it's like, yeah, the more popular you get, you just gotta not entertain it because yeah, because things could end badly.
Was some guy coming to beat your ass or something?
No, 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 no. So I don't know if you were aware or how much you followed me. This was 5 years ago. So back when the whole George Floyd thing happened, and like
Oh,
the cop, I was, I'm pro law enforcement, but I was, talking against the cop or whatever, and somebody had
okay.
sent me a picture. It was like a little graphic. And that had like the cop Derek Chauvin's like address or whatever. Like, I didn't originate. I just reposted it, and then I had a certain cigar club, and it wasn't even all the chapters, just a particular one
Right.
up in New York, and they were pissed off that I was with Stogie Press at the time. This is before I started my show. Me
Gotcha.
and Boston Jimmy had so I almost got canceled 5 years ago in 2020.
Oh, well, we're glad you stuck around.
I'm just glad that I did not get canceled, and
Everybody loves a comeback story, Mike. Everybody loves a comeback story.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how 5 years ago I wasn't, I didn't know you guys as well, so I didn't know,
Right.
all that happened, and it just kind of like I laid low for a little bit, and then I came back. So
Here
now,
I am.
now this person he was from that. I'm not even gonna say the name or whatever the cigar group,
That was
um,
a long time ago.
but he was down here in Florida, and he met up with me at Blend and Barrel, now known when it was Executive Stanford,
Executive.
and you know, and he gave me a few cigars. We had a conversation. Everything was good, but he kind of like acted like he wanted to be a little tough, but it is what it is. He said he wanted to come in and rough me up, but somebody told him not
Nah.
to. But I was like, whatever.
I have a question for you, Mr. Shirtless.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why shirtless Mike. Why did you take up the thing about I'm just not going to wear a shirt?
Well, that's how I normally am when I'm around the house. And, I used to exclusively post in Cigar Cartel. And so I would get home from work when I worked jobs that I hated, and I would just take a picture smoking a cigar.
You were always just shirtless.
I'm always shirtless. And then it just kind of caught on, and I was like, I'm just going to run with it because
Sure, why
I
not?
could blow this up. So, shirtless Mike.
Everybody thinks I have a big dick, so I mean, things happen. I
Absolutely.
completely understand.
Absolutely. Man, this conversation. See, this is what I mean by a good interview. This is like we're just it's natural conversation. Like I forgot. Like we've talked so much about so much. So this is another good example of a good interview right here.
For sure.
I've never asked you that question. I've always wondered. I mean, and
So many
you do
people,
it. You're not just shirtless Mike when you've got a camera in front of him. You are shirtless Mike everywhere you go in the
listen,
cigar
I
industry.
am me. I am me. Okay, like
Right.
that's what I try to tell people. Like, when the people would try to come at me like on cigar groups or whatever, like I smoke cigars in real life. So,
When
like
my
I
wife
am
met
me.
you for the first time at one of the smoke ins, I introduced you to her and you said hi. And you were very nice and everything. When you walked away, she's like, "Why doesn't he wear a shirt?" I go, "Because he's shirtless Mike, honey. I mean, can't wear a shirt and be shirtless Mike."
Was this at the Great Smoke? Because I honestly don't remember meeting your wife.
Yeah, it was. She went to one of the great smokes with me.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because so it's kind of law right at this point where, when I go to smoke, even if I'm not at the great, just for the Great Smoke, like if I show up at Smoke Inn,
Right.
everybody's gonna give me shit, and I have to be shirtless. It's kind of like
Oh, if you have a shirt on, people give you shit now.
it's literally an unofficial contract. So like, I mean, that whole community, they all fuck with me down heavy down south. So
Right.
everywhere else it is what it is. Like I'm not gonna go around just walking around shirtless and whatever. But at the Great Smoke though, it's literally just it just became a thing, and now I kind of have to.
When you started at Smoke Rings, did he go, "Look, you're gonna have to wear a shirt though"?
Now like he just knew what it was. Like it is what
I
it
mean, he had to
is.
know who you were. He had to know you're shirtless Mike. But I mean, you don't show up for the interview without a shirt on though.
Does he
I didn't,
clock
I,
in? And
I didn't
Yeah,
even
clock
I
it.
didn't even get interviewed, so I was basically
Ah,
recruited. Like Louis recruited me because, like that's how he'll tell the story. He'll be like, "Yeah, I personally recruited him because he knew me, for years. He saw me just from being like a local guy to,
right.
just started to become pretty well known in the industry, and somebody put in their 2 weeks notice, and I was gonna be coming in and just training and filling in for Angelo. I don't know if I think y'all met Angelo. Kind of, he no longer works for us, but I was gonna fill in on Friday nights, and the Lou hit me up. He was like, "Hey, this guy put in his 2 weeks notice. You ready to come on full time?" And I haven't looked back since. So,
Good for you. Seems to have worked out for you.
oh yeah, most definitely. So speaking of smoke rings, you guys have both been to the shop. I promote it heavy, and everything. Like, what do you guys, think of the shop and everything and our partnership? Are you guys happy with the way I promote, Pastania and all that?
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, as a national sales manager, nobody does it better than you. I mean, you've got that hat on every time I see you. Now that we've worked out the hat issue,
Yeah.
we
you
sorted
know.
that out.
Yeah, now we sorted that out. Since Lou
No,
gave your hat
it
away.
wasn't even an issue. See, I'm down with like using, stuff to, promote product sales, and it's just there was no note, and that's what Louis was. He's like, we're just gonna use this to sell product, and I sold a deal, and I still got one more hat to give away. So, if you're watching, because my customer base does watch this show, so now that you know Mike and Mike, you know Powstanie, you hear me talking about it like crazy every single day. Like, you need to try this cigar. I'm trying to blow y'all. I'm trying to blow them up over there. So if you want to try something, want to get a good deal, either buy a box, buy 21 singles. I'll give you this hat, and you can
Well,
be
not that
one of.
hat. You'll give him a hat like it. Don't give away your hat again.
No, 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 no. We have one on the shelf
Right.
right
Yeah.
next to the product, and it's
Somebody
ready.
else's hat.
So you could be twinning with shirtless Mike. So
There
shouts
you
out
go.
to my boy John. I sold him on a deal, and he enjoys the cigars. So
If it ever happens where you need just that little final push for somebody, you call me on the phone. I don't care what's going on. I'll take your call.
I'm gonna start calling like, hey, I need
Hey,
you.
you want to talk to the national sales manager? Maybe to make this little final decision.
No, but see, I try to not to resort to that. You know what I mean? I just tell personal
I just
stories. Like,
I wanted to make the offer just in case.
yeah,
Because
I
I've done
appreciate
that to people before. I've called Jack and Skip sometimes. He doesn't answer as much as Jack does, but I've called people I know too. Like, oh, you like this cigar? You want to talk to the guy who made it?
See, I try not to be a bug. Like, I got these guys' numbers, some of these guys' numbers, and
Well, I
and
don't abuse it, but
I
if
had
some
some all the
guy,
time.
if some guy's trying to flex on you, you go, oh well, it's not as good as a Cuban cigar or whatever he happens to be, think is better. Go, hold on, let me get my phone. Hold on.
We can face that booth right now.
Yeah, right.
well, I've texted or called Matt Booth a few times, because somebody that really likes Room 101 would be like, hold on, hold my beer, and I'm like,
Right.
hey, Boofy, what's
He
up?
loves to answer the phone too. So
Yeah. He may want to bash you in a 1983.
Well, I might not call him now. I don't know. He's a little angry at me for some reason.
So we're getting towards the end of the show. So we're on this Matt Booth topic. What's your favorite, what's your wildest Matt Booth story?
Last week when he wanted to ass rape me in a bathroom or something when I was 83, so I would have been 17. It just sort of struck me as a little odd.
Pretty intense. I don't really have any really intense Matt Booth stories, other than the fact that whenever he sees us, he's like, oh, I'll be right. I'll talk to you. And then he just disappears. And I'm like, and there he goes.
He does like to disappear.
Yeah.
He'll give you a big hug and everything. One time, another smoke-in story, but I was at a smoke-in at the time my wife was with me, and I go, oh, you need to meet this guy. He parted 3 other people. He's talking to other people. He parted them and moved them so he could come over and say hi and get introduced to my wife. I thought that was very nice of him.
He's a good guy.
That's very awesome. I got a couple. So the first one was I first started at smoke rings. We were just catching up. I was about to leave for the day. It's been a while since I talked to him. So I was on the phone real quick, and he was like, he just randomly asked. He was like, "So have you caught anybody having sex in a cigar shop bathroom yet?" He's like, "There's something so erotic about a cigar shop bathroom."
You know what? You should take Shirtless Mike to the next level. When you take pictures with somebody from another brand or from a brand, you should get them to take their shirt off. See if you can push that. Not women.
I've done that with so Vinny. I don't know if you know Vinny Preston-Giacomo.
I know the name. I think I've met him once.
Yeah, he owns Smoking in Delray and Pompano.
Okay.
And I have a picture with him, and he tried to get me to rush the stage at the Great Smoke, me and him shirtless, but I was like, no, because Abe will fucking kill me.
Yeah, Abe might not think that's funny.
I mean, he was ready to get past Petra as security. She was making sure nobody was going to the VIP section. Like, he was all ready to go. I was like, you know what? I need to keep a good reputation, Vinny. Okay, like let's just chill. So we took a picture.
I hang out here. I need to be careful.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. You don't want to.
So the other Matt Booth story, I was at Smoking and just talking. I was talking to Justin Andrews and Matt Booth, and then he randomly signs like my shoulder, and then he draws a dick. Like, he signs both shoulders, and then under one of them he draws a dick.
He loves to sign stuff. First event he did here in the private lounge, he signed everything.
Toilet.
He signed the toilet, the phones, inside of lockers, upstairs in the bathroom, the cash register. I mean, everything. So every once in a while, somebody will find an MB on something. We're like, oh, that was Matt Booth.
Like, oh, he signed that too.
You're right. Yeah, apparently he signed that too. Would you like to buy it?
Oh, and also, away from the Matt Booth stories, well, I see Mike over there's texting Matt Booth all the crazy. That was just
He's texting him right now.
He's like
talking shit about you.
I'm like, we are talking mad boofy shit. But anyway, one thing I'm forever grateful for, because I know this is a new thing that, you finally incorporated it. Probably after, I don't think I'm the only person that was like talking about it, but thank God you guys make UPC codes for your cigars now. Because I mean, Mike, I know you're a retailer, and I know you can, you understand the pain of it or whatever. You guys make your own have to make your own labels for some cigars, but I mean, you have staff to do that. You know what I mean? I don't know how involved you are in that, but I'm the guy that makes all the labels, and so thank God that there's UPC codes on there. So,
well, like that part of that is because I do both. Right, because we have a retail shop, and whenever there was a problem, we would just figure out how to solve the problem, and whatever, we just moved on. I think that because of that, we never really addressed it. And then just listening to, just having Ronnie Haisha call me enough times and harass me about it, I was like, okay, obviously this is an issue. So you all want to do what you can for your customer, and not only is the customer your consumer, but you're also the customer, right? So I have to try and make your life easy as well. So it made sense, and it took a little longer to get it implemented than I thought it would, but I'm glad that it's happened, and moving forward, everything will have UPCs.
Absolutely. And you if you know where I got I'm sorry. I'm overhyped on coffee. I had coffee before the show. That's why I've got more hyper. Um, so I got that idea because this is before I even got into retail. I would see Ronnie and his dad, complaining about, no UPCs on Roma and everything. And then once I got into retail, I was like, these guys are onto something. So now I make it my business. Anybody got a relationship with them, like, there's no UPCs. I'm like, okay, I need UPCs, bro.
Yeah, it's a natural progression of the business. I mean, you have to grow, you have to make changes, things have to happen. That takes us to another level.
Yep.
But another pet peeve I have, it's not with y'all because I see it with, because you guys have not done this or whatever, but there's big companies, even like, small companies, like, and they'll have UPCs, but then like there's product that will arrive, and I know that other product has UPCs, and then some of it doesn't have UPC. It's just like one time one order has UPCs, the other one doesn't have UPCs, which I
Right.
understand. It's like old product versus new product, and it's
Yeah,
stuff
you got to work it
happens or
through the
whatever.
system. I don't like when they have the QR codes right next to the UPCs because the register will pick that up too, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
So then you got you
I've
got to
caught it.
find it. You got to put your finger over the tiny QR code, and then try to scan it.
I do that. Yes, the only company I know that does that is, you already know. I'm not gonna say a name because I got mad
Yeah, I
love,
didn't want to say the name either. I'm sure we're
but
thinking of the same people.
it will show up and it will be like www dot
Right.
whatever cigars dot com, and it'll say zero
Can't
dollars.
name
Like,
names.
no, that's incorrect.
What, Michael?
Why can't we name names?
No, I
Okay.
mean, I'll
I'll
name
name
names
names.
because
Well, I mean,
it's
I
not
was
it's not a
protecting his
diss.
show. I don't care.
No, it's fine because I got good relationships and all that. But it's Perdomo, which
Perdomo. That's the one. That is the
I
one.
fucks with Nick Perdomo. Like, he recently gave me his number. He's gonna eventually come on the show. That'll be, but I
Oh,
mean,
let's give it out now. Everybody can call and complain.
Yeah, what's the phone number?
What's his phone number?
no, I ain't doing that. I think I keep seeing pictures of him in Nicaragua, but
Come on.
Come on, let's get this.
Let's do
We'll give out
it.
Justin Andrews' number if you give out
Right.
Nick Perdomo's number.
Yeah, I'll give you just it's his
We'll
birthday.
trade. Yeah, today's his birthday. We should call him on the show.
Yeah, let's
call him
call him.
like we're on straight out of the Herf zone. Like,
See if he answers Michael at night. Just have to hold it up to the microphone. You're using that digi camera right tonight.
I am.
Yeah, the tracking thing makes me motion sick
All
because
right.
when you move, it moves.
Okay, so listen, I'll call him. Okay, do you want me to FaceTime him or regular call him?
What, whichever one will pick up on your
whatever
computer.
will pick up the sound because I don't have all the fancy equipment like y'all
I'm gonna
do.
regular call him, and if he answers, we're gonna sing happy birthday, and then I'm just gonna hang
Okay.
up. It's not looking good.
Oh, I thought it clicked over.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
You son of a bitch.
Dead to me.
Never answers.
No, but the whole bar, the UP,
UPCs?
no, the
QR code?
QR code. Yeah. So I mean, I got mad love for Perdomo. At first I was like, what? It's not like I'm talking shit, because I'm not. I'm just saying the QR codes. You
We're
gotta
talking shit. It's wrong.
We're
You
talking
shouldn't.
shit.
Yeah.
They're one of the brands that are the biggest problem for me because you go into a shop and 75% of the humidor is that damn Perdomo stuff.
Damn.
I
Damn.
mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It sells, but certain stuff sells more than others. Is all
Right,
I'm
That's
but
like
if you want any of it, you got to take it all. It's all or nothing.
Yeah,
It's all
somebody's eventually gonna buy it.
Yeah, somebody will. Somebody's
Right.
going to buy this.
But yeah. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to address that because we're getting towards the end here, so is there anything that I didn't think of? I gave you congratulations on the high marks on the cigars this year. We talked podcasts, we talked the brand.
What's the meaning of life?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
You don't know either. Okay. All right.
More cigars. Everybody should smoke more Powstanie cigars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That way, you just know because people they want something different. What I do, I take them to Powstanie and Roma.
There you go.
There
Attaboy.
you go.
Well, it's the factory of the year.
Yeah,
3 of the last 4 years.
4 cigars on top 25 out of the Nika Sueño factory.
and literally,
Highest.
all you got to do is just get them to smoke them, and then they're like, "Oh, this is good," and then I've had people start to
That's
come
it.
back. So it's
Just got
slow,
to get
but
one on. Just get them to smoke that first one.
That's it.
yep.
I
Now the
tell
thing,
people at the shop, you just got to hand feed them that first one, and then it's fine. That's all you got to do.
Trying to.
because people complain, about cigars with high price point, and I'm like, look, Roma Craft is everything that we have in our humidor. We don't have the higher priced ones. We got everything that's everyday price, and it's good, it's solid.
Even the high price ones aren't that bad. I mean, they're not that high. There's tons of stuff out there higher. That's not as good.
Yeah. I mean, the Pastañas they're not super high, but they're at that right at that price point or whatever. And the other day, somebody came in wanting to buy it, so I recommended the Habano because that's my favorite one. I already told Mitchy Maduro Habano's better than broadleaf, but
Yeah.
so I know he'll see this because I've already tagged him in a comment earlier. But anyway, this guy he didn't even ask what the price was, so like he was bought a few other cigars and he wanted to buy something for somebody, a friend of his who's a more experienced smoker, and I gave him Pastania Habano, and I'm just waiting to hear how his buddy liked it. So
You're real good with the brand name. That's surprising how many people can't. That's usually one of the first questions. How do you say the name?
And we appreciate that, Mike. We appreciate that.
I try. I mean, I've even learned how to say your last name. I can't.
Yeah, I
spell
saw
it.
that when you introduced him. It was it was like 92% right on the money.
Yeah.
A
And,
lot closer than most people.
I think it took
Go ahead.
Skip 9 years to get Postania right. And he makes the
He
fun.
still doesn't say it right.
He was saying it right the other day.
He said Paustania.
No, that's what he normally says. But he said Postania. I heard
Did he?
it.
Postania. I mean, I do have another new Polish friend. So, as you guys know, I'm friends with the Appliance Direct guy. Well, one of his friends, Stan. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Let alone spell it. So I just call him Stan. But
I thought you were going to say he was Polish. I'm like, he looks Korean.
no,
That's
no,
so
no, no. His friend Stan is Polish,
Stan.
and
The
so
wacky
Polish guy.
guy is Polish. I'm starting that rumor.
That Appliance Direct is Polish.
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
From southern Poland. He's from
yeah,
South Poland.
Yeah.
his
Southern.
good friend Stan is Polish, but I can't. I've already gotten Mike's name how to pronounce. I can't spell it very well. It's in my phone. It's spelled very incorrectly. I just know how to pronounce it. But Stan, I don't even know. Like I have to ask him because he's actually from Poland. I know you're. Aren't you, Mike? Aren't your parents from Poland? And then so you and Greg are the first generation Americans.
Yeah.
All
My
right,
father's
Stan's
actually
from Poland. He's got the whole accent and everything. So
he's legit Polish.
It's another reason they brought me on. My last name's easier to say.
Yeah. I like
Oh,
that everybody thinks that Palmer's my brother. I get that all the time. He's not
I
your
get
brother?
asked that. Some event we were doing upstairs, and somebody said, "So, are you related to?" And before I could answer, Greg just turned to the guy and went, "Yes, he is. Don't ask anything else."
all right. Well, I appreciate you guys for coming on the show today, and I'm gonna end the recording. However, we can still bullshit, and have fun once the recording is over, because that way I don't have to do any editing. But everyone out there watching, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. I think it's been making it so that people cannot comment, so share the show, and I'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good one. Peace out.
Thanks, Mike. It was
I'll
fun.
let you know when we're done so we can talk that